Today on the Veggie Veg, we're going to make meal prep. It's back to school time and fall time and probably taking your job more seriously than you did during the summertime. So today I thought we would do 3 easy vegan meal prep tips. Hey guys, I'm Candace the Veggie Veg and welcome back to my channel where I take foods and turn them into something else. I give you easy, affordable, delicious vegan recipes and just general vegan stuff. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. If you have a recipe request, you can leave that in the comment section down below. And if you like meal prep, give this video a big thumbs up. We're going back to school, we're going back to work. We probably all slacked off a little bit in the summer during work. So now it's time to go back to meal prep. I, during the summer, tend to fall off my meals and just kind of order out food because I'm too lazy or don't really think about what I'm eating. But going into kind of like fall, I like to get more into meal prep again. Just make sure that, you know, I'm never left without food and then I have to order in. It gets expensive, you know, Uber Eats, it's very expensive. So today I thought I'd show you 3 different meals, a very easy breakfast that you can prep, a super easy lunch that you can take to work or take to school, and just another cute little lunch idea slash snack. So the first one I'm going to show you how to make is meal prepped protein pancakes. I'm going to show you a quick and easy way that you can do them in the oven and then show you how to reheat them. This is a very basic pancake recipe. The protein that I'm using is Outcast. They make an amazing vegan protein. It's my favorite one that I've tried so far. I actually have a link if you want to try them out. Highly recommend that you do. I'll leave that down in the description box down below with like a link so you can go check them out. But that is the protein powder that I like to use. So I start with a 1/4 cup of that. And I'm just using the vanilla flavor, but I mean, if you want chocolate pancakes, you can obviously use chocolate flavored protein powder. And then just some flour. I like to add a little bit of sugar. Again, that's up to you. You can leave that out if you are adverse to sugar. Baking powder and some salt. And then just whisk that all together until it's well combined. And if you don't want to use sugar, you can always use something like agave or maple syrup, stevia, if you're into that. I'm not, I don't like stevia, I don't like the flavor. Or you can leave it out altogether and use something like bananas in here instead. Now I'm just gonna go in and slowly pour in the milk. I'm gonna start with about 1 cup. I might need up to 1.5 cups. You just want it to start to come together. You don't want it to be too liquidy. This is soy milk, but I mean, you can use any plant-based milk that you like, but because they're protein pancakes and soy milk does have a high protein content, it just kind of makes sense to use soy milk. So mix that together. And then you can obviously cook these one at a time in a pan, like traditional pancakes, but I'm going to go ahead and do them in the oven. That way you can just throw them in the oven for like 10-12 minutes, and then you can cut them up into squares for individual breakfasts or snacks or post-workout meals, if you will, whatever you need it for. All right, so go ahead, just pour it in and then spread it out. And then you can throw that into the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. These are going to give you pretty fluffy pancakes. All right, so after like 10 to 12 minutes, you will end up with this nice, fluffy, giant pancake. What I like to do is just cut it into squares or rectangles and put them in a Tupperware and then reheat them in the morning or after my workout. You can reheat it just in the toaster. I like to just pop them right in the toaster and then enjoy them with whatever topping I want, whether it's maple syrup or fruit or just eating it on its own, peanut butter, I don't know, vegan Nutella, something like that. And Louie and I both love these, and I'm not a breakfast person. Like, I have a really hard time eating breakfast, so having something like this that I can just like grab really quick is perfect. The second easy meal preppable thing I'm going to make is, it's kind of like a lunch, kind of like a snack, depending on how much you eat. It is Tupperware charcuterie. So I'm gonna show you just how to pack up like a really nice, almost like an adult Lunchable. Just a really nice kind of like snack if you have a smaller lunch or you like kind of like a mid 3 p.m. little snack in the afternoon, or I like to just have this for lunch. So this is really up to you. There's tons of different options. Cheeses, you can use any type of your favorite vegan cheese. I would suggest some sort of like jelly or jam or preserve. Some sort of protein, I like smoked tofu, but you can use whatever you want. Some sort of dried fruit. I have some apricot here, also cranberries. You can use dried blueberries, whatever you have. A nut of some sort, some almonds, walnuts, as well as a fruit, something like strawberries or grapes, some sort of vegetable. So whether that's tomatoes or carrot sticks or celery, any sort of like paste too, or tapenade. I have a little truffle tapenade here, some crackers, and if you want something salty, something like olives. So you can kind of pick and choose from all the different categories that I mentioned and just kind of throw it into a meal prep container or lunchbox. I also like to use these silicone, what are they? Cupcake muffin liner things. And then if you don't want certain things touching, you can just kind of like place them inside and it protects one thing against the next. But you can just kind of, you know, throw everything in there. And then the other thing that I will do is I will pack the crackers separately just because I don't want those to get soggy or stale in the fridge. So I'll usually put them in like parchment paper or wax paper or something, or like a sandwich bag or something, and then keep them near the fridge so you can just grab them easily and go when you take your lunch bowl. And this one, these are like the poutine style cheeses from Farm Boy, but you can use like cheese squares, kind of like these, or if you have what they call like slices, you can always cut those up so they're easy to stack. Or if you have like a spreadable vegan cheese that you like to use, you can use that. So you can get little things like this, and they have little like lids you can pop on top. So maybe I want some truffle because I'm bougie and I want some truffle this day. Blueberry preserve this day. Red pepper jelly is really good for this too. It doesn't have to be like sweet. It can also be spicy like a red pepper jelly. And that's your meal prep. Here's a little BTS for how we shoot blog photos. This is my favorite part of my job, actually. All right, the third recipe that I'm going to show you how to make is a barbecue chicken salad. So you can meal prep this for the whole week for lunches. Also, I'm gonna give you the option too, if you wanna bulk it up, you can add some rice to that or quinoa if you're like really hungry at lunch instead of just having a salad. So the chicken part of our barbecue chicken is going to be soy curls, and then the salad's gonna have like corn and beans and onions, and I think you're really gonna like it. All right, the first thing we are going to do is make our chicken. So I'm using soy curls. I just rehydrated them here. You can just do that with broth. I use like a no chicken flavored broth, but you can use just the vegetable broth. And once they're rehydrated, you just wanna go in and just squeeze all that broth out. So I will just give it a good squeeze like this and throw it into a bowl. So do that with all of them, and then we are just going to cook them on the pan until they're a little bit charred. I just heated up some olive oil in a pan. I'm just going to cook the soy curls a little bit. I want it to have that kind of like barbecue like taste and like texture to it. So I'm going to cook it until it's charred. So I have that up on a high heat, and I'm just gonna let it do its thing. So these are the like charred kind of bits that we're looking for. Not a ton, but some. So I like to just throw this into a bowl. If you're worried about the amount of dishes you're making dirty, then you can just do this in the pan. But I'm gonna add some barbecue sauce. So this is about half of a cup for this many. But if you like your fake chicken or soy curls really saucy, add a bit more. If you like it less saucy, add a bit less. All recipes are just a guideline. In fact, I think I'm going to add a little bit more. So now you can just set that aside and let it cool a bit while you portion out all of your veggies. You don't want to throw this in with your veggies when it's warm. Warm-ish is fine, but definitely not hot, or else it's going to make your vegetables start to kind of break down. Welcome to our vegetable assembly line. So you can get these just like meal prep containers or like lunch boxes. I have a couple different types, but because all of these vegetables have different like moisture levels, I like to keep some things separate on purpose. So lettuce is one of them. Lettuce tends to wilt really easily, and if there's too much moisture touching it, it will go bad a lot more quickly. So what you can do if that's a concern of yours is you can just put a piece of paper towel, or I like to recycle like cloth. You can put that on the bottom there. But I also like to keep the lettuce separate. So I will put the lettuce in its own little container divider thing here. And you can use whatever lettuce you like with this. You can use spinach, you can use arugula, and you can very easily swap out the lettuce for something like rice as well. Where the lettuce is also where I like to put the limes. So I will just kind of place the lime skin side down, and that'll add a little citrusy zippiness to the sweetness of the barbecue sauce. I like to use like cherry or plum tomatoes. I think that they're sweeter. I like the flavor of them a bit more. It's tomato season here right now, which is really nice. They actually taste like something. Tomatoes in Canada kind of taste a bit bland. Unless you get them during tomato season because it's just so cold up here. And I mean, you don't have to do these like fancy little lines that I'm doing. I love it, the aesthetics of, you know, meal prepping. I just like the way it looks. All right, so you can go ahead and add your barbecued soy curls. And I'm just going to add them to the other side, beans in the middle here. Beans are a bit of a heartier ingredient, so they can stand up to the salt and the sugar in the soy curls and won't break down as easily as like tomatoes will, for example. Then you can add your beans in the middle here. And again, it's about 1/4 cup. For each one, it's about 1/4 cup of corn, 1/4 cup of tomato, 1/4 cup of beans, and then just put however much protein you want. Don't do 1/4 cup of onion unless you really like onion. And then this is completely optional. If you don't like cilantro, you can leave it out, or you can add a different herb like parsley. I just like to pop that in with the lettuce. I just like the combination of barbecue sauce and cilantro. All right, so here are our 5 finished salads. You can also, I mean, I'm using just barbecue sauce as the dressing for this, but you can also use whatever salad dressing is your favorite, or like a ranch goes really well. If you have a vegan ranch or a vegan Caesar, I have recipes for both of those on my blog, so you can check them out. You just put those in little containers and put them on the side. And like I said before, if you want to swap out the lettuce for quinoa or rice, or add some quinoa additionally to this, you could do something like that as well. So there you go, you have your breakfast, you have 2 lunch options, or if you like salad for dinner, it also works for dinner. Easily meal prepped, you can do this all like in an afternoon, a couple hours, and then you're ready to go. All right guys, so let me know if you like these meal prep idea videos. You can let me know by giving me a big thumbs up. And if you have any recipe requests, you can leave those in the comment section down below. If you're new, hit that bell notification and the subscribe button. It definitely helps me out. And that's it. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.